All right, welcome to the Lifestyle Wealth Acquisition System. So, inside of this system, it's strategically designed to help you acquire your dream clients. Now, what I mean by dream clients is who are these clients who are going to stay with you for 6 months to a year? Who are these clients who are going to be raving fans about you, right? Like very much what I'm saying about 1,000 True Fans. Who are these clients who are going to refer 1, 2, 3 people from their network, from their family, from their work, because they're having such a good experience working with you, right? In order to get to your lifestyle wealth freedom number, it doesn't take a lot of clients. It really doesn't. Depending on your offer, depending on your price point, and depending on the length of time that they stay with you. Those are obviously the variables. But there's a very strategic way to acquire these clients over time that we're going to build out inside of the Lifestyle Wealth Mastermind. But key point here, guys, because you're probably looking at this and looking at all of the different parts that I've built out for you. We are going to do this one at a time, okay? One of the biggest mistakes I think most online coaches make is that they rush. They're eager to get clients. It's coming from a good place. I totally get it. I've been there myself. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're doing this in the right way, right? It's kind of like a rock climber. You know, when a rock climber climbs up the rock, and when they get to a certain point in the rock, they put a stake in the rock so that the more they climb up, they don't fall all the way back to the bottom. They just fall to where that they put in that stake, right? That's very much what we're going to do here, because most online coaches, they kind of rush this and they put no stake into the rock. Whereas when we're doing this in the right way and we're putting a stake in the rock, if something's not working here, that's okay, because we've built out the other elements, the other pillars of our acquisition system so strongly, right? If I look back to my most successful clients who are consistently at 20K, 30K or beyond, it's because they've mastered this and they were patient with this and they took their time with building this. So that's one of the most important things. So inside of this module, guys, I'm going to quickly go over the whole process, and then I'm primarily going to focus here because in month number 1, this is the main thing that we're focused on. Month number 2, we'll focus on grow. Month 3, we'll focus here. But primarily and this is the most important thing, is creating that 1,000 True Fan audience. What this whole process is designed to do is create a client acquisition journey, let's say, that's rooted in trust, it's rooted in integrity, and it's rooted in a feeling of value for your ideal types of clients. They're going to feel like you actually give a shit versus some of your competitors, right? Who just treat their ideal types of clients like another number that they need to hit in the day. This is the opposite. This is the opposite of it. But we want to make sure that we're building this process in a way that's sustainable for you. It's not overwhelming. And in a way that you can continually improve on over time and stay consistent with over time. Business, and this is why I love working with health coaches, business and health coaching, the science of health coaching, getting your clients results, is literally almost the exact same thing. It's just the details and the context that is different. But in terms of the principles of consistency, right? In terms of the principles of continual improvement, right? In terms of the principles of having the right mindset, like all of that is the same in business, and especially this process. So with that being said, guys, to quickly go over this, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit to quickly go over this. So pillar number 1 of this system is making sure that we're building our audience of our exact 1,000 True Fan audience. So I'm not saying you should only have 1,000 followers on Instagram, on your subscribers for your YouTube or subscribers for your podcast, whatever it is in your private community. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is within your follower count or your friends count, whatever social media platform you're on, you should have over time, and this is what we're going to do and grow, you should have 1,000 True Fans. And what I mean by that is the perfect ideal type of client that you want to work with. Right? This is what we're going to build over the next 12 months inside of the Lifestyle Wealth Mastermind. The reason why this is so important and the reason why this is step number 1 versus anything else over time is because this is you digging your well before you're thirsty. This is you when, let's say, a bunch of people come out from a baseball game and they're starving. This is your hot dog stand. right? Like that's what this is. And again, to use a different example, when I look back to some of my most successful clients, the reason why, one of the main reasons why they were so successful is because they've built this. This very much is an asset. So to describe it in a different way as well, and again, guys, this isn't going to happen overnight, but this will happen over time inside of this mastermind, is do you know, without a shadow of a doubt, if you called in 5 clients on your stories today, that you would get them? For example, for most of you guys watching this, because we just started this mastermind, for most of you guys watching this, the answer is probably no. For some, maybe yes. But for most of you, probably no. Over time, I want that answer to be yes. And that's going to happen with everything that we're going to build out here. But I'm going to get into that in a second. So this is step number 1. Everything good stems from this. Step number 2 is our actual content strategy. What is the process that we're going to build out over the next couple of months and stay consistent with? And most importantly, making sure that your content is strategically designed to attract the perfect ideal types of clients that you want to work with, and also repel the wrong clients. Just a quick side note on this. Your most important asset as an online coach is your time, is your focus, is your energy. If you're spending it, and I use that word deliberately, if you're spending it on people who aren't a good fit just because you want to make an extra $1,000, it's 100% not worth it. Now, that decision is up to you to make. I'm not going to make that decision for you. But coming from coaching over 900 online health and fitness coaches over the last few years, it actually costs you more. I don't care how much they're paying. It costs you more energetically to coach that person. So we do want to repel the wrong people as well. We want to speak directly to who our ideal type of client is. And this is how we're going to grow our audience over time. Then what we want to do is we want to qualify. So very much to my last point, when we have call to actions, when we invite people to a private community, when we have a free training or a PDF that we want to send out, when we have some sort of engagement to get people into our ecosystem, we want to make sure that we're asking them questions. We want to make sure that we know without a shadow of a doubt, this is the type of person that we would like to work with because they match boom, 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 this specific criteria. That criteria is specific to individually to you guys. We're going to talk about this on our calls, but this is where we want to qualify. We're getting people to raise their hands, and now they're asking you a specific question. Now they're starting to see, okay, this might be the coach that I want to work with. Then what we're going to do is we're either going to send that piece of value that they opted in for. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to ask very specific questions around it. We're going to understand where they're at now, where they want to get to, what that gap looks like, because that's how every coaching conversation starts. It's not just, hey, how's it going? It's what's the problem you're struggling with? Where do you want to get to? And then that bridge between where they are now, where they want to get to, that's where you can have a conversation around working with you. Now, we've got an entire process for this that we're going to teach down the road, but this is very much this pillar inside of the acquisition system. This very much is the secret sauce inside of Lifestyle Wealth. Everything is strategically designed for Lifestyle Wealth and is unique, but this in particular, I've developed different strategies that, again, is based in integrity, is something you feel good about, is something that isn't salesy or something that doesn't feel forced. I'm excited to share this with you. It's going to be in future modules. And then the last one is inviting them to a call. This is going to be where you're going to have an actual sales call, and you're either going to convert them to a client, or they might just stay in your free community for a little while longer until they're warm enough to have another call with you or some sort of interaction with you again, right? So this is the pillars that's going to help you get those 15 clients, those 20 clients, those 30 clients, depending on what your number looks like. This is the process that's going to help you get there. Now, the cool thing about this entire process is that it's sustainable, right? Like once we build out these processes, it's not based off of tactics, right? It's not based off of something that is trending right now and something that's here today and gone tomorrow. These are pillars that are based off of principles, right? Understanding the psychology of your ideal type of client, understanding the laws of reciprocity and client attraction, and the principles that have never changed over the last 100 years, right, of doing business. That's what we want to focus on here. And again, doing it in a way that's in alignment with your core values, personally, business, everything. So that is a quick rundown of the acquisition system. Now, when it comes to what I want to focus on for this training today, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. This is building our 1,000 true fans. Okay, so this is pillar number 1. Again, just like I said at the top of the video, this is something I think a lot of coaches rush. You post content just to post, just to kind of check that box. Again, I get it. I've had this conversation with a lot of coaches, and what we want to do here is we want to take a slight step back before we just start doing a lot of things. It's very important to be very intentional with your content strategy, with how you're building your profile, your social media, because just like I said, this is going to act as a magnet, right? And we want to be very strategic with that magnet because we just want to attract the right kinds of people that we want to work with. We don't want to attract every Tom, Dick, and Harry. We want to attract the person who's going to work with you for 6 months to a year, right? Or the person who's going to opt into your free community, go through your free trainings, actually apply the homework that you have in there. Maybe they chill there for a couple of months or longer because they have other stuff going on in their life, or they're working with a coach currently and they're not in a good spot yet, but then they're ready, right? These are the people that we want to attract, and we want to be very specific to how we're attracting them. So some of the pre-work that we have inside of this month, inside of Lifestyle Wealth Mastermind, in terms of understanding who your 1,000 true fans are, what is the message that's going to attract them, what are their core values, what are their deeper desires that they would be looking to hire you for, that's going to inform everything that we're doing here, everything. So those homework pieces are very important, guys. It's not just PDFs or Google Docs that I created just to keep you busy. That's very much not what it is. Those answers, and that's why it's important for you guys to take the time to go through those PDFs and those Google Docs and answer them in as best a possible way you can, because those answers inform what we build. What we build is what's going to determine if you're getting the clients that you want or not, right? So you taking the time and not rushing, going through those Google Docs, answering those questions in the best possible way, that informs everything that we build. That's the soil, if you will, of the plants and the trees that are going to grow over the next few months inside of this mastermind. You determine the quality of the soil, okay? With that being said, in order to create this, let's say, hungry fans who want your hot dogs, to use a basic example, what we need to do are a couple of things first. Number one, we need to optimize your profile. So there's some trainings down below, depending on if you guys are on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. The majority of you will be on Instagram. That's why that will be prioritized inside of this mastermind. Some of you are on Facebook and some of you are on LinkedIn. So we do have trainings around optimizing those profiles as well. But the biggest thing here is before we start with growing your audience, before we start with potentially paid ads, is we need to optimize your profile, right? Essentially what we want to do here is we want to, again, think of that perfect ideal type of client who's going to work with you for 6 months to a year, tell all their friends about you, right? We want to think about that person. And then we want to think about, okay, what does your background banner look like? How are we optimizing our tagline? How are we optimizing, if it's on Instagram, your pinned posts and your story highlights, right? And your bio, right? We want to think about that person in mind first, and then we want to optimize our profile accordingly. This is very important. And again, I've got trainings down below on this inside of the mastermind on school. But this is step number one, because everything flows from that step. Paid ads aren't going to work well if your profile sucks. Just blunt truth, right? Growing your audience organically, doing JV trainings, referrals. Again, people aren't going to want to follow you or friend you or connect with you if your profile sucks. It just is what it is. I know sometimes this might be tough to hear, but especially with online coaching and when it comes to client acquisition, even if it's a referral, even if someone's ready to hire you right away, I can almost guarantee you 9.9 times out of 10, they're going to look you up on social media, right? They're going to click around. They're going to see some of your content. Nobody wants to have a call with someone that they don't know, like, or trust yet. So that's very much what this is designed to do, optimizing your profile accordingly. Secondly, and I'm just going to go down here. Secondly is we have paid ad strategies that are working very well that we can also deploy if you're ready for that. And that's up to you in terms of your budget and in terms of where things are at for you right now. But for as low as like $5, $10 a day, we can start optimizing your profile. Now, we have specific protocols on Instagram, not so much on LinkedIn and Facebook. We do have some, but Instagram primarily is the one that works the best right now with everything that we've tested. Follower ads, call to action carousel type ads, and then boosting our best performing organic content is what we're going to do from a paid standpoint. And again, it doesn't have to be that much, as little as $5, $10 a day, depending on your budget. If you want to go all in, we can absolutely spend more. But this is going to help grow your audience, specifically with your 1,000 true fans at scale, right? So instead of having to grow your audience individually, when you guys are sleeping, when you guys are at the gym, when you guys are in transitional moments, hanging out with your family, whatever it may be, you're getting followers, right? Like we're growing our profile based off of what this message is. Now, the key here, and I'll get into this in the later trainings, but the key here is when we run these paid ads, it's very specific to the person that we want to attract, right? Quality over quantity and everything. I actually don't even care if you spend $100 or $500 in a week and you only got one follower. That won't happen. This is an extreme example. You only got one follower, but if that follower is a 10 out of 10 ideal type of client and they sign on with you for a year, that was worth it, 100%. Or if that follower was a 10 out of 10 ideal type of client and they don't sign on with you, but they do in 2 months or 3 months because they're in your ecosystem, still worth it. It's about looking at things on the long term, not the short term. Right? We need to look at this overall ecosystem with a long-term lens. That's what we do in Lifestyle Wealth. So that's just a quick rundown. Guys, this is a little bit technical. So there's trainings down below on how to actually set these up and what it looks like. But this is a strategy that's going to help you grow faster, essentially what it is. This is more, I would say, quality, but slower. This might be a little bit more quantity, but faster, right? And a good hybrid strategy between the two is something that I think can work well. So that's how we're going to grow your audience of 1,000 true fans. And again, if this is your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, or a combination, I definitely recommend picking one to start with and to go all in on. But over time, we can diversify and make sure that we're growing different assets, social assets, which is what I call them, over time. So that's profile optimization, paid ads, and organic growth. JVs and referrals. This is very, very simple. What I mean by JVs is connecting with other like-minded and similar businesses, coaches, thought leaders inside of your space, your market, but not a direct competitor, right? So what I mean by this is, just to use very, very simple examples, let's say inside your community or whatever city or town or state you guys live in, you connect with your local massage person, your local chiro person, your local physiotherapist, right? A spa, different things like this. Adventure sports stores. Like, I know this is very, very basic business 101 advice for me to give, but it's cliche for a reason. Cliches are cliches because they work. This is something that, again, some of my most successful clients, they've made partnerships with certain doctors, certain physios, certain people in their local community to refer clients to them, where they go through an assessment, determine if they're an ideal type of client or not, and go from there. When it comes to lifestyle wealth overall, having some sort of JV, joint venture, is what that means, partnership over time. You don't need to set this up right now this second, but I do want you to start thinking about it. Setting something like this up over time is something that takes the pressure off of sales and marketing. If you know 10%, 20% of your clients come from some of these partnerships that you've created, it really helps. It really helps. Now, I'm talking about this from a sales perspective. What I'm going to talk about now is the audience perspective, right? If the audience of your local chiro, physio, whatever it may be, med spa, some of these different things. If you're able to do different collaborations with them, you shout them out, they shout you out. You send clients their way, they send clients your way, right? I want you to start thinking about this. Again, very basic concept for me to talk about, but it does work, and it works very, very well. When I was growing Chiller Fitness, what I did was I partnered with a paddleboard company. Paddleboarding was one of my favorite sports. Blue Surf in my town here. I also connected with a couple of chiropractic practices in my area. A physio, not a doctor, but I wanted to, but that fell through. Quite simply, guys, I would get referrals, and people would follow me on Instagram first before they would connect with me, right? So I want you guys to start thinking about this, because the intent, if you think about the intent of someone following you from an ad versus somebody following you based off of their recommendation from their chiro or doctor or physio or whatever it may be, med spa, whatever it may be, it's a lot higher, right? It's a lot. That's why I'm even saying this strategy on this training, because you get high quality leads from a very simple strategy like this. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. And then referrals, which is very similar to what I just said, just different context, where they're coming from your current clients, right? They're coming from different, maybe past clients you've worked with, friends, family members, things like that. You want to make sure that you're getting the word out around what you do, where to connect with you, right? Even if it's just your email sign off, even if you're sending out your social media link to a couple of clients and saying, hey, by the way, I'm looking to grow my Instagram or my LinkedIn, whatever it is. And I would love if you would share my profile with a couple of like-minded friends in your work, your office, whatever it is, right? Again, very, very basic strategy for me to go through. And I've got some other ones that I'm gonna go through in the Lifestyle Wealth Mastermind. But this is how we're going to grow 1,000 true fans, right? And this is very specific. It's not just I want to blow up my social media. It's I want to grow my social media with, let's say, a sniper rifle approach. I'm not a gun guy, but just as an example, versus a machine gun approach, right? So just an example to understand this, guys, but this is step number one. And this is what we're going to go through in this month, is understanding how to set all of this up and build it. Now, one thing we're also going to just lightly touch on, even though most of this is going to be in month 2, is your content strategy, right? What's our process for building content? How can we make sure that this isn't draining? This is consistent for us, right? We can make sure that we're consistent over time. We have a specific content strategy that we're going to go through. It's going to be in one of the trainings down below, but something that is easy for you guys to follow through with. And then most importantly, it's based off of your truth, your experience. Some of the best content that you can create is stuff I could never think about because I'm not you, right? Yes, we have content templates. Yes, I can give you content ideas, and we have all of that inside of the Lifestyle Wealth Mastermind. But I also very much want you to have a process of writing, of creating, because we can absolutely fill in the gaps with everything that we're building inside of the mastermind. But I want to make sure that there's the soul, right? Like the soul of your business, the DNA of your business is you. It's not my ideas, it's your ideas. So the more you can make sure that that's intact, and then you can fill in the gaps with everything that we're doing inside of the mastermind, but you can make sure that that's intact, one of the most important things. And there's a training down below around this. So anyway, guys, to zoom back out, because we just zoomed in here, everything in terms of the acquisition side of things and getting your, let's say, 20 clients or 30 clients over time that are paying you $1,000 a month or $650 a month or whatever it may be, all of that comes from this. This is the seed, if you will, that's going to grow. So we're going to get into all of these different pillars in the next couple of months and build them out, again, very carefully, very specific to you, very specific to your ideal type of client, and done the right way, not the fast, hasty way that doesn't work long-term. Everything that we do inside of Lifestyle Wealth is long-term. Just to reiterate, you guys already know this, but my goal with Lifestyle Wealth is I want to build your coaching structure. It's not just about seeing the result. I want to build your coaching structure and help you in a way where you will continually use these systems for maybe the next 5 years, right? Or longer, maybe shorter, but long-term focus, long-term sustainability, just like with your weight loss clients, right? So with that being said, guys, hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you in the next training.